She's humongous. Whoops. I think I'll name her Patricia. Coffee. Hi friends, welcome to Funshine Fab Crochet. I am Kelsey and today I am on another plushie kick. If you know me, you know I don't really make plushies often, but something's gotten into me lately where I have enjoyed making plushies. Plus, I found a new yarn to use that I really like in plushie making. As always, if you see the blanket breathing, that is my dog, Sunday. She likes to be under the blankie. Every time I talk, the wind chimes go crazy, and every time I stop talking, they're absolutely silent. My friend's daughter just had a birthday, and she said that she was really into horses, so I crocheted her a penguin. No, just kidding. A horse, obviously. And it made me think, have I ever crocheted a unicorn? Because I love unicorns. And then I thought, yes, I have crocheted a unicorn. This was probably the third or fourth plushie I ever made when I started crocheting, so it is not well done. Not only had I never sewn when I made this, I also didn't have any buttons or any way to make eyes unless I just crocheted them on, so I never gave her eyes. This unicorn has been blind since she was made many years ago. I also think there's one more row of pink in this leg than there is in this leg because this one's longer, but that's fine. I like how floppy she is. If you can't sense where this video is going, I'm going to make a unicorn again today. Let me show you the yarn I got. I made my friend's daughter's horse out of this yarn, and thank goodness I did because it turned out so cute and soft, and you can't even see the stitches. So when I showed it to my mom, she didn't even realize it was crocheted. She said, "What is this part made out of?" And I said, "Girl, that's yarn." It's the Premier Little Bunny brand. This color is Teddy Bear. I know that because I didn't have enough and had to go back and buy it. I get it from a store called Ben Franklin. I have no clue if that is like a franchise because I have never seen it anywhere in the world except in Kingsport, Tennessee. I could probably Google it, but I'm not going to. Ben Franklin, it's a craft store. They have a little bit of everything. Their yarn's cheap. It's $3.99 for one of these, but if you buy these on Amazon, they're like $7.99. So I got pinks. That's purple. I got pinks and purples to make a unicorn. I'll probably make the horn out of a different color, but I was thinking pink for the hooves and purple for the body and the head. So I got 3 purples and 1 pink. Originally, I was gonna do the opposite, but it kind of feels like unicorns are always either white or pink. So I was like, I want a purple one. I bought these a while back at Hobby Lobby when I was making Big feet. I don't know, I made 2 of them. Not the feet, the cryptid. I made 2 of them, so 4 feet. I got these to use, they are buttons as eyes, but they just have one little hole in the back. I should have just gotten safety eyes off Amazon. I have never bought or used safety eyes before, but that's what everybody uses when they make plushies. Once I use these up, I'm getting safety eyes because these are not stable. I think this yarn is thick enough that I can use a 5mm hook instead of a 4. So cute. The unfortunate thing about this fuzzy yarn is if you hate to count, this is not the yarn for you because you do need to count in every round because it's so easy to drop a stitch and not be able to see that. I don't know if I want the arms to be a little bit smaller. Sometimes I do that. And I always make my plushies humanoid like this unless someone specifically requests. They're like on all fours like a dog or a horse, but I like them like this. They're like more cuddly and snuggly and plushie-esque. This is gonna be a big plushie. That's a pretty big hoof. Oh my God, that's a pretty big hoof. Am I okay? I made my little feet hooves. This yarn is a little difficult because I can't tell how many rows I've made, so hopefully I made the same number of rows on each foot hoof. I also went ahead and made arm hooves, and I did make them 2 stitches smaller than the leg hooves, so they'll be just a little smaller. Now let's get started with the leg. I am absolutely in love with these colors together. And you know, when I was picking these colors out, my brother, shout out to my brother, he was like, "I don't like those colors together. It looks too much like cotton candy." I said, "I love cotton candy and cotton candy colors. Why would you say that to me? What color is a unicorn supposed to be?" You know, as I'm sitting here working on this leg, I'm realizing that I don't have any fluff to fill this with. So Gonna have to go to the store and acquire some stuffing. Just realized my sparkly purple nails match this yarn. What a time to be alive. I don't know what color I'm gonna make the mane and tail out of, but I guess I don't have to think about that until I am basically finished. Right now, I have no idea how many rows I've made going up, so I'm just gonna have to guess when I make the other one, like when they roughly look the same. And that's a scary feeling. Okay, we've got the second leg finito, and I have attached them in the center. This is about to be a big old plushie. I didn't realize how big it was getting until I put the two together. Let's continue on with some bod. I do wish I had some stuffing on me because it's just so much easier to stuff the legs as you go rather than wait till the very end when you're having to stuff the legs through the skinny little neck. But we're just working with what we got, I reckon. I know some people stuff their plushies with old scraps, like little pieces of leftover yarn. I feel like it would end up coming out of my, like between two stitches. I don't know. You know, I always make my plushies from the bottom to the top, and I always have the legs connected to the body like this so that, you know, it's all open and stuffed together. And I thought I had always made all my plushies like that, but I was looking at this unicorn, and I definitely made her legs independently of her body. That's why she's so cute and floppy. I'm really hoping I have enough purple yarn to make this happen because we have this much left of the first skein, and I haven't made the arms yet, just the hooves of the arms. We might end up with a short little torso, but you know what? It's okay to have a short little torso. That doesn't hurt anybody. This is ending up so much bigger than I meant to make it, but I love it. I'm 2 hours from the craft store that sells this yarn, by the way, so I'm gonna have to make it work. Okay, I think the body's about long enough that it just needs 1 or 2 more rows, and I can add those as I attach the arms. But first I have to make them. I'm gonna have to sacrifice either on the arms or the head, I think. And realistically, I'd rather have a proportionate head than arms. Also, I think this unicorn would look really cute if I made like a t-shirt for it or some type of clothing, because maybe a tutu because she's gonna be like really purple all over and naked. I don't know, just brainstorming. Okay, as I wrap up these little arms here, I'm gonna call it quits for today. But hopefully the next time you see me, in a matter of moments, I will be rich with polyfill filler or whatever brand, and maybe some buttons for eyeballs. Coffee. Okay, well, day 2. Where do I start? I made the little arms and I started on the snoot. I'm very paranoid that we don't have enough purple left to make the head, but we're gonna try. However, I couldn't go any further without polyfill because the arms get sealed up as I do the next row. So obviously they have to be stuffed. Hobby Lobby was completely out of polyfill and I had a gift card, so that's unfortunate. But I did go to Michael's and they did have it. I would have gotten 2 big bags, the 20-ounce ones, but they only had 1. So I got a 20 and a 12, and I'm hoping that the 12 is enough to fill this unicorn bod. Oh, and with aforementioned Hobby Lobby gift card, I did get buttons for the eyes. They did have like pinks and purples and blues, but I thought that would look kind of crazy. I mean, like, think of a unicorn with pink eyes. That's kind of scary. But if push comes to shove, I could always just crochet eyes and then do a button on top and then sew the eyes onto the head. But I did want big eyes, so I did have to get big buttons because I only have like little buttons. Anywho, I'm stalling because I'm scared. Let's get stuffing. I'm stuffing her little leggies first. And by legs, I mean her arms. Shouldn't we call them unihorns and not unicorns? Something to think about. While I was buying the polyfill at Michael's, I saw that they have a huge box of it. And honestly, it was a much better deal, and I would have gotten that if I had anywhere to keep it. Also, if I made plushies often enough. that would probably last me like 5 years because, you know, I don't make that many plushies. I shouldn't be doing this next to an open drink because I just know it's getting stuffed full of plastic. My drink and this unicorn. Okay, I have to put the arms on in this row. Have to. One arm on. Let's do one more. Getting these arms even is gonna kill me. Arms are attached. Body is complete. We just have to make the head. However, I can confirm we don't have enough purple left to make the head. Had to go around a few more times after the arms than I realized I would. So I'm just gonna go as far as this will let me. I do think that's enough snoot though. I'm gonna start expanding to make the head big. I'm so annoyed at myself that I'm gonna have to buy another purple skein just to use such a small amount of it. Also, to be honest, this yarn went a lot further than I thought it would because I didn't mean to make a unicorn this big. I just made the legs really big and then I had to make the body to match. And now I'm having to make the head to match. We are so ridiculously close to having enough purple yarn that I'm about to do something crazy. Hear me out. This part is going to be covered in mane anyway, so I might just go ahead and make it out of the pink yarn that I'm going to use for the mane. Does that make sense? It's going to be covered. We're going to try and see how it goes. I guess I need to sew on the eyes first. And if everything looks insane, I can always just undo it and buy more purple yarn. Okay, first of all, I did all the feces. I did all the face details without you. And for that, I am kind of sorry, but also it would have been really boring because it's just a lot of me sitting here like this while I sew on a button. I had this like white, little bit fuzzy, little bit sparkly yarn that I used for the horn, and I'm glad I did. I like that that's the only white thing about her because it's the magical part. Her ears ended up crazy. She kind of looks like a hippo. No, not a hippo, like a rhino right now. If the horn was right here. I couldn't get her ears to look more horse-like. She's kind of giving cow, but that's okay. Let me show you the back of her head where I just used the pink. It actually ended up being like an even smaller surface area of pink than I anticipated, so that was good. So I'm just gonna have to use the pink yarn right here for her mane. And I think that's gonna look great and cover that up really, really well. And then of course, her little tail will go down here. She's shaped a little bit crazy right now, but I think the mane is gonna cover up a lot. But yeah, she is imperfect and I love her. So let's do the fun part and put her mane and tail on together. I could do this pink yarn that has no fuzziness to it. It kind of matches the pink used for her hooves and snoot and ears. And the reason I would do that is, first of all, for dimension, but also because I don't know how this yarn is going to behave at the end. Like, I don't know if little fuzzies are going to come off for the rest of eternity. Well, doesn't seem like they are. But also, I don't have that much of it left. Is this enough for a mane and a tail? I'm not sure. I also could use both of these yarns and see how that looks. I do think this one will make the most sense though, because it matches, and I would probably have to use less of it because it's fuzzy and will cover more surface area. I'm gonna go with the fuzzy stuff. I'm making a mess. I'm making a big mess. Let's stick these on there and see how it's looking. I think I'll start right between the ears so it's harder to tell that they are asymmetrical. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's one row right between her ears. I'll probably have to trim it at the end, but let's keep going. There are 2 rows. I think I might pull all those in front of her ear and then start going down the back. 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, 7 rows. I'm gonna cover this up. My blanket is covered in fuzz, but here is her mane. I might go back and add just a touch more after I finish the tail if I see that I have enough yarn left over, but in the meantime, let's get started on her little tail. I am absolutely covered in pink fuzz, which is exactly what I was afraid of. I'm hoping that once this yarn does its initial shedding, there will be no more shedding, but we will see. Because it really seems to just be shedding where I am cutting it. At least that's what I'm telling myself. One strand left over, I'm gonna use it on the mane. I do have some of this pink yarn left, and I think I might use it to make a scrunchie for myself, not for the unicorn. She needs a serious vacuuming, and so does my couch and my clothes. But here she is. She ended up about twice as big as I expected her to be. This is crazy. She's humongous. Whoops. I love her. I did not mean to make her this big. I'm obsessed. I love this yarn, and I'm gonna get more of it, and I'm gonna make more plushies with it. This is the biggest one I've ever made by far. I'm so happy. Everything in this vicinity is covered in pink fuzz, and I'm okay with it. I think I'll name her Patricia. That is our unicorn in all her glory. Okay, well that's that. Thanks for joining me on this mythical journey to make this gigantic unicorn. Gigantic by accident. Wonky on purpose. Thanks for watching, especially thanks for watching to the end. Consider subscribing for more tutorials and crochet with me's and just general cozy craft with me sessions, and leave a comment for any ideas of future videos. I will see you guys soon. Bye.